Hi guys, happy Sunday. I'm just gonna give it a minute or two for people to come and join us. How's everyone's Sunday going? I'm in Connecticut. It is extremely rainy, but that just seems to be what it is on Sundays around here lately. I hope everyone's doing well. I am so excited to bring this class to you. Halloween's my favorite holiday, so it's just so exciting that Sally's asked me to do this. Um, Before I start, I'm going to show you guys the colors I'm going to use. We're going to go through, I'm calling it like a witchy Beetlejuice vibe. You know, I got the green hair, I got the sweater, Beetlejuice. Um, and I'm going to teach you how to seamlessly really just apply your color and have fun with it. I am melting together some purple and green today, and I'm going to kind of teach you the easiest way to go about that without making it muddy. We'll call her Debbie. We have Miss Debbie here, and we are going to color Miss Debbie's hair. And I'd like to welcome you to my studio. My studio's name is Lucky 13. I am located in Westport, Connecticut. And I'm going to show you guys the colors I'm going to use to create this melt. And yeah, then we'll get started. So welcome to Sally's DIY University. My name's Alyssa Wiener. I have been doing hair for 10 years. And for about 15 of those years, I've been using Manic Panic. And a 15-year-old me could see that she is doing a class for Sally's Live and gets to have creative direction for that. That would be real. Like 15-year-old me is freaking out and 29-year-old me is freaking out. So, okay. We are going to be doing purple at the root, and then I'm going to melt some color into the mids, and then at the ends, we're going to do some lime green. But I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks. So, as you can see, I already have the hair separated. I'm only going to be coloring half of it today, and then you can follow me and Sally's and Manic Panic to see the final results. And because I am using a wig, the sectioning is a little bit different than what like a human's head would look like, but or feel like, I guess. So we are going to go with that, but I am going to teach you. We are going to separate our front from back, and we are going to get started on our mixing. So I will be using Purple Haze, an Electric Lizard as my main colors, which you can buy on Sally's online or on their app. And I will also be using some Pastel-izer in the midsection of the hair. And then I'll also be using some Hot Pink and some Atomic Turquoise just to amp up the colors. I never like to use anything straight out of the tube. I find that it's just more fun that way. I feel like a mad scientist. So while I get my color started, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I, as I said, have been in the industry for 10 years. And I've been coloring my hair ever since I was 12 years old, and I'm 29 now. In 8th grade, I went to, well, from kindergarten to 8th grade, I went to a private Jewish school. And it allowed me, let me restart that. It did not really fully allow me to express myself. So in 8th grade, colored my hair black. And I got sent to the school therapist because they thought I was depressed. Funny story, but is what it is. The first color I remember coloring my hair was Electric Lava by good old Manic Panic. And I fell in love with coloring my hair. So when Sally's and Manic Panic asked me to do a DIY university, DIY is so close to my heart. I have about 75,000 followers on Instagram, and I make rainbow hair for a living. And I would not be where I am if it wasn't for DIY. So I encourage everyone to experiment and to have fun with themselves. So I just mixed up their purple shade. What I did, I used a little bit of purple haze and some hot, hot pink. Now I find if I mix some pink into my purple, I get a bit of a longer lasting result. The hair likes to hold onto warmer tones. So if you amplify the red shades within the purple, it'll look richer. It won't be hollow, and it'll stick a little bit longer. So now I'm going to mix my green flavor. Electric Lizard. This is one of my favorite shades in the world. Up until a couple months ago, I had it in the front of my hair, and then I had a crisis. It happens. And one of my favorite party tricks to tell my clients is that this is UV reactive. So when you go under black light, yeah, it glows. Coolest party trick ever. So we're going to take Electric Lizard. And we're going to put that into our bowl and mix that up. And then, as I said, I don't like to use anything straight out of the tube. So I'm just going to take a little dollop of Atomic Turquoise. Just the littlest dollop. And I am going to mix it into my bowl. And now what that does, Electric Lizard is a little, it's like very, very slimy green, which I'm into. But adding the Atomic Turquoise just gives a little bit of depth to it. So super neat. And then, so these are our colors that we have in this bowl. And then I'm going to take our Pastel-izer, and we're going to mix it into a bowl by itself. Now, when I melt colors together, I like to have, let's start that over. When I'm doing these types of melts, I like to be able to show my guests what it's going to look like. And also, it's good for you to kind of visualize how the two colors will blend together, right? So I'm going to show you guys my favorite tool. It's called the color map. And basically, it goes through the underlying pigment that hair would be lifted to. So as you can see, Debbie here, it's a nice pale blonde. So I'm going to go with my pale blonde paper. And I am going to swatch it. So, oh, that is a gorgeous purple. And this is how I apply my color too. So we start at the root. So that's my first color. Look at that slimy green. Is that not delicious? And then I'm going to take my Pastel-izer, which really is just, it's clear. And you can use it to dilute your colors, right? But I'm going to use it as a midpoint in these colors to blend the two together. So I like to do the ends first, the root, and then the mids. Now, when you're at home, make sure that you have a wet towel to wipe your hands on in between colors. Especially when doing colors that aren't next to each other on the color wheel, you want to make sure you get whatever gook off of your hands before going on to the next section. So I'm going to get my gloves on and we're going to get started. Bye. I hope everyone's day is going so well and that you're able to get some rest. So after I colored my hair with electric lava back in, that was my freshman year in high school. I started playing with every single color there was out there. And I colored my hair blue, and people asked me why my hair wasn't green. And I dyed my hair pink, and people asked why my hair wasn't orange. So I did every single color. So here we go. We're going to start at the root, right? Now, when doing vivids, you want to take sections that are paper thin, that you want to be able to see a newspaper through. Be able to read a newspaper through that section. And saturation is key. I am going to take a lot of product and put it on my brush. So I will be going through and putting her base color on. And what that does is it allows the roots to soak that up first. And this is exactly how I would do it on myself or in the salon on a client. I personally have dressed up as Beetlejuice for the last 3 years because I've had the green hair and it's just a super easy costume. I think I even wore this shirt. But yeah, Halloween is near and dear to my heart. It was the only time I was able to express myself as a kid. And yeah, so after I colored my hair just about every single week. And yes, good things about Manic Panic. It's vegan, it's cruelty-free, and it's very non-damaging to the hair. But when you're lightening your hair every week on your own, it becomes super damaging. So I met this hairstylist at the time who just graduated cosmetology school. And she asked me the question of all questions, which was, have you ever thought about doing this for a living? I was 15 at the time and nothing else made sense. And right after I was in high school, I had my last big kid summer. And then I immediately went to cosmetology school at the age of 18. And I was the kid in school that broke all of the rules. Now, that doesn't mean I showed up late and did all of that. Oh no. I tried creating color and doing things with oxidative color and semi-permanence and stuff that wasn't really well known yet. So if you're a licensed cosmetologist or if you have color knowledge, there are color intensifiers that you can add into your permanent color. Sometimes it helps cancel gray out a little bit more. Sometimes it adds copper a little bit. I was using those straight out of the tube and putting them on mannequin hair just to see what would happen. And this was 10 years ago, so color was still really, it was more grunge than Vogue at the time. So we're getting good on Debbie here. Look at that saturation. Do you guys see how I'm taking the smallest sections? When you're doing this on your own hair, take your time. It's not a rush. And semi-permanents do not damage their hair. They're basically, at the end of the day, like a colored conditioner. So I went to cosmetology school. My senior advisor in high school told me that I was too smart to do this and that I shouldn't waste my time doing it. Which is so funny because I get to paint rainbows for a living. Why do you want to talk someone out of doing that? I get to pay my bills with my art. I think trade schools really should just be wider accepted. Not everyone is made out for college. I personally can't sit still. So with my brain, I also have synesthesia. So that, for me, means that numbers have taste, sounds have color. To explain that further, Thursday is basically this color purple. Threes are gold. So if that gives you any inclination to what my brain is like, I'm not a person that can sit still. I am not a person. I need to be able to create. And what's so nice about the day and age that we're in is that people are allowed to express themselves just a little bit more. So we're just getting around to the bottom of her hairline here. Now, if this was a guest in my chair, I would go through and apply to each quadrant to her roots first. But we're trying to stay a little light on time. So I'm just going to do this section for us. So I remember at my first salon, there was a girl who really wanted a dip dye. You guys remember dip dyes? And my boss at the time knew that this was something I wanted to get into, and she said, "Hey, Liz, do you want to take on this project?" And then the word got out that this is what I like to do. And I am so lucky that I get to create every single day. It truly is just the coolest feeling. Okay, guys, so as you can see, all of the roots are applied. Now, could I take it off and shift it all back? I can, but I want to keep this neat. So I'm going to take this and in a vertical upwards motion, I'm going to take my first section. Okay? So I always go diagonally because that is how the hair falls naturally. And I'm going to take my comb just to get any knots out and brush it through. So this is where I see a lot of people go in with their mid color and then blend to the ends, and you're not really able to let that end color breathe. So if you guys can see, I'm trying to make this perfect. All right, purple on the root. Now I'm going to take my green, this nice slimy green, and we are going to saturate those ends. We are going to saturate. You want product on that brush. You want that hair to soak up that product. And then we are going to go upwards in a sweeping motion, right? So going upwards helps diffuse all of the color and creates that seamless blend. So you can kind of already see what I'm going for. Make sure it's nice and saturated. And now, because I'm going to go in with a light clear color, I'm going to take my wet towel, wipe my hands in between my fingers. The amount of times that I've messed this up, I've probably failed more times than you've ever tried, so don't get discouraged. All right, so we're going to take our Pastel-izer, and I'm going to start right in the center. Saturate, saturate, bring it up. Blend that purple in a horizontal motion, and then blend it down into the green. I'm going to take my purple and go back at the root and blend that in. The remaining purple is going to blend in the middle and tone your blonde for you. Now I'm going to take the green, resaturate those ends. And make sure my blend is on point. I always feel myself making this concentration face. I can't help myself from making. And then go back in and blend more with the Pastel-izer. So taking your time with each section is really going to help that blend. It's taken me years to figure this stuff out. All right. So after my first couple of years in cosmetology, I started really building my brand and my vivids. And I am very lucky to say that throughout the pandemic, well, my business has exploded. People want cool hair. Um, it's seen more as vogue rather than, rather than grunge at this point. It's seen as mostly acceptable in the workplace. 10 years ago, it was never like that. I used to have to put little hidden pieces in people's hair. So we're just blending that bottom part in. I'm going to take our Pastel-izer. Blend, blend, blend. It's all about the blend. You guys see how I keep building up the color? And then it gives me that seamless looking melt. So as I was saying, I opened up my business in 2020 of last year. I have worked with brands and educated with brands, but nothing I don't think is cool as working with Manic. Manic is very near and dear to my heart. I mean, they really were the first vivid company ever. I remember being 15 on St. Mark's Place and buying my first, that was where I went. I thought it was cool. Now in the front, I'm bringing the green up just a little bit more because I'm imagining it again around my guest's face and, it's going to give you that money piece look. And yeah, I do rainbows every day now, and I use Manic in my daily life. My hair actually is Enchanted Forest. Oh yeah, that's a nice looking one. Now if I can give you guys some tips and tricks on how to keep your color looking fresh. So don't wash your hair every single day. That's a big no-no. Your hair produces oil, and it needs that oil to stay healthy. So if you're washing it every day, you're stripping it of that oil, and that's not cool. So I suggest my clients washing their hair once or twice a week in cold, cold water. Cold water is the goal. The cold water keeps the cuticle of the hair shut and keeps colors from bleeding together. All right, we're getting there. I also always suggest using a color protectant and a heat protectant. And it's cool. I was actually on Sally's app this morning, Sally's Beauty. You can download it in your app store. And they actually have an entire section that is dedicated to 1, bright colors, and 2, color care shampoo and conditioner and heat styling products. So if you go on their app, you can actually just click it and it'll bring you to everything that's color safe, which I think is so smart. So you can also watch more DIY on the app. There's plenty of other classes. I personally am so happy they asked me to do the Halloween class. All right, so do you see that line could be a little more diffused? So we're just going to diffuse it a little bit with that purple. I don't make every section exactly the same because that's what helps with the variegation. Yeah. Look at that melt. Ooh, she's pretty. I'm so excited to see this one, guys. I truly feel like a little kid on Hanukkah opening up her presents whenever I get to rinse out my color and then even styling it on the curling wand. It makes me so happy. Debbie is having some mega Beetlejuice vibes. I actually just bought all my Halloween costume stuff last night. I'm really excited about it. Halloween has been my favorite holiday since I was a kid. And I might have to change my costume now because I think this wig is coming out really sick. Nice. Now see, I noticed I had a little sliminess on my hands, so I'm going to take that off before I even try melting more purple on. Keeping that wet towel next to you is going to save your life. Watching it in the camera. And then spice those ends up again. Now, I don't use foils or anything typically when I'm doing my vivid work. Typically, if I do want to use anything, I will use something like a mesh sheet where you can just plop it right under the hair or right on top of the hair. Keep it from making a mess. All right. So I've got a couple more sections left. And then what's cool about Manic Panic is, as I said before, it's non-oxidative, so it means it comes right out of the tube. Therefore, it does not have a processing time. Suggested is half an hour under a cap. You can add some heat if you want to. I personally will throw some on my hair and clean my kitchen or clean my bathroom and worry about it later. But that's what's great, is that it's basically giving your hair a big old giant sip of moisture, which is exactly what you need after pre-lightening it. Now, if you are a DIYer, I will suggest, if you have a big color change, please use a deep conditioner. Please condition your hair in between. Give yourself some moisture, give yourself some protein. Treat yourself to some good stuff for your hair. Let it breathe in between changes. So we are just about to finish up. Remember, you guys can buy things online at Sally's. You can buy all the colors you can purchase all of the colors I've used today on sallysbeauty.com or by downloading the Sally's app. And please, please, please get yourself some shampoo and conditioner while you're at it. Remember, if you're investing a lot of time getting a cool color or doing a cool color for yourself, you want to take care of it. It's the most important part. The mesh sheet said bye-bye. Okay. And we will take our last section. And I'm going to comb this forward. Over directing a little bit will kind of help give it that swoop in the front. Saturate, saturate those ends. I think the main takeaway that I want my vivid users out there to take is saturation and cleanliness. You can also buy these cute little brushes at Sally's. I do like to color coordinate my brushes with my vivids. That way I don't get lost with what I'm doing. I want to keep that front piece a little bit brighter, so I'm not going to put as much purple on at the root. Just going to blend that down, make sure she's seamless. It's truly like finger painting. So this concludes the application for my haunted hair color. I truly feel she's giving me Beetlejuice vibes. See, sometimes we've got to blend some stuff out at the end, and that's okay. Truly giving me Beetlejuice vibes. If you guys have any questions on this application, where to find Manic Panic, where or how to really do anything, I'm an open book. You can find me on Instagram at Alyssa Wiener. That's ALYSSAWIENER. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. You can also follow Sally's at Sally's Beauty. Download the Sally's app. Go watch everything else on the DIY University. There truly are some good educational videos on there. And buy Manic Panic. Truly tried and true. My favorite stuff. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this live. If you have any questions, let me know. So a couple different tips and tricks too. Doing the back of your head. What a good question. What I typically do, honestly, is I hold a mirror and I look in a mirror as I'm doing it. You can also kind of shampoo the color into your scalp in the back if you can feel it, and then just truly section. But no one sees the back of your head. So therefore, if you don't see it, no one else does, right? But truly, 2 mirrors has been the best. Are there any other questions that we have? So, can I do any combination of colors? Absolutely can do any combination of colors. I would suggest kind of staying away from melting yellow into blue. Really, honestly, using the Pastel-izer in the middle kind of takes away the fear, but just really keep in mind that your colors will blend together eventually, which is why the cold water is very important. But, you know, blue into orange might make mud. But also, I kind of say just go for it and see what happens. Are there any other questions? How do I know which colors go together? Well, if you think of your color wheel, we go Roy G. Biv, right? So red and orange will always blend together. Orange and yellow will always blend together. So it's really just basic color theory. And then also utilizing something, this is one of my old color maps. You can see that I do swatch all of my colors on here. And sometimes I'll just blend them together so my guests can see what they'll look like. And you can do this at home on a paper towel and just see how they blend together. And then if in the middle it makes kind of like a muddy color, then maybe adjust it with its complementary color next to it on the color wheel. I hope that made sense. I recommend washing your hair once or twice a week, ideally once a week. It truly, as I said before, your scalp produces oil. And so throughout the week, you'll want to brush that oil down or just rake it down through your hair. And just washing it once a week will keep the vivids nice and bright, and dry shampoo will be your best friend. Oh, do I ever mix the Pastel-izer with color itself? Absolutely. So what's super cool about the Pastel-izer is it is basically like Manic Panic, its original formula, without the pigment in it. So if I wanted a light lilac color, I can start with my Pastel-izer and then add a drop of violet into it. And then that would give me a nice light lilac. So whenever you're mixing lighter colors, or whenever you're mixing colors, start with your lighter color first in the bowl. So I would want to start with my bowl of Pastel-izer and then slowly add my color until I liked the desired result. Same thing with mixing your own green color. If I were to mix a green, one of my favorites is doing a neon yellow in the bowl and then adding a drop of atomic turquoise, and it creates just, you know, if you don't have electric lizard on hand or something, that's a great way to create a green. So make sure that you guys can follow, make sure that you guys do follow Sally Beauty on Instagram and at Manic Panic NYC. Make sure you guys follow them on every social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and make sure that you download the Sally's Beauty app. As I said, there are so many tips and tricks on there. You can click different categories to get exactly what you're looking for. And make sure to follow me for the finished result on the wig. It's at Alyssa Wiener, ALYSSAWIENER. I thank you guys so much for joining us on this lovely rainy Sunday. And happy Halloween. I hope you have a lovely rest of your October.